The good old Who's today were on at headquarters of Caulfield Cup Day in Melbourne. But in New South Wales, we had the provincial meeting at Newcastle. Say a few words about that next week when I watch the tape on Monday. Just very quickly, going back to today, a week ago at Newcastle on the 11th of October, we had the meeting at Newcastle. As I say, the track was dead. The rail was 5 metres out on that day, and well, there was most certainly nothing wrong with the fence. Up near the fence, up near the lead and on the fence, could have been a slight advantage. A little bit hard to run on down the outside. We went to, on Sunday, last Sunday, we had a meeting at Hawkesbury. The track was upgraded from a dead 4 to a good 3. The rail was in the normal position. We had a steady breeze out of the northwest, and like Hawkesbury has been playing of late, there was no bias on the track. You could lead on the fence and win, or you could, with enough pace, make up ground down the outside. Warwick Farm was the meeting on Wednesday, the 15th. The rail was 5 metres out from the 1,000 metres of the winning post, and the track was a heavy 8. And after the rail after the post, it was 3 metres out after the winning post, and the track was a heavy 8. We had a fairly stiff breeze coming out of the southwest, so when they were coming down the side, leaders were running into that breeze, but it most certainly didn't stop leaders from winning. In fact, it was most probably better to be up near the lead, but in saying that, you would think the fence would be okay, but that wasn't the case. Most winners were up near the lead. It was most probably hard to come from behind around them, but stay away from the fence in the straight. There were a few winners that led, and as I say, when they were getting to the turn and in the straight, they avoided going near the fence. So runners that went close to the fence, you can give them a little bit of an extra tick in how they finished. We went to, after Warwick Farm, we didn't have a provincial meeting on Thursday. Scone was on. We went to Kembla yesterday, the 17th, and very similar to Warwick Farm. There was a southwesterly blowing at Kembla. The track was a slow 7 upgraded to a slow 6. The rail was 6 metres out, and it was, I thought, an advantage to be up near the lead, but again, stay away from the fence. There were runners that were up near the lead and won, and got wise as they swung. They were off the fence, a lot of them, before they got to the turn, and then they kept on shifting ground, getting a little bit wider in the straight. That seemed to be the best posse. In the 5th race there on yesterday, the very well backed Jitterbug, ridden by Josh Parr, it settled down in last position coming to the turn. The leader in that race was a runner called Jaco, and it was maybe 3 off the fence when they turned for home. And Parr, Jovial Josh Parr, he went to the inside of runners, not tied up against the fence, but he was closest to the fence, and he was able to get up inside all of them and round them up. Wasn't a bad little win. So when assessing that meeting, take that into consideration. We got to today's meeting at Randwick. We had a very soft or a nice steady northeasterly blowing. Didn't have any effect. The track was a dead five, a dead six or dead five upgraded to a dead four, and possibly the sting was just a little bit out of the ground. The rail was 6 metres out, and it most certainly wasn't a disadvantage to be on the fence. We saw the first winner lead on the fence. The good result for the captains, $13 out to $19. Celino, just all we say it every year, that little bit of a race experience was the factor in getting it home. The favourite in the first race, Tempt Me Not, was a tragedy beaten. You've only got to look at the tape. You'll see that it should have won. The next race, very similar. The fourth horse in this race, Amavotio, it's easy now, ridden by Serge Lisny. Serge, if he stays on the fence, he most probably just about gets home. This race was won by Excess Knowledge, who was, his fluctuations were very, well, it was firm in the betting until maybe with about 5 minutes to go. We put it up to $4.20 favourite, 13 to 4. And at one stage it got out to $6.50, came back into $6 towards the end of betting. It was very hard to lay, although if you had the $6.50 up towards the end, it was taken. It was a little bit stiff, as I say, Amavotio. We got to race 3, where, well, this was most probably, I thought, the unluckiest runner all day, and that was number 1, Abduction, who finished up running 4th in this race. Very similar to Serge Lisny. Father Schofield on Abduction, he was on the back of, well, he finished up, what was he on the back of? He's on the back of, he finished up in last position on the fence, and turning for home, he was held up at a vital stage going for a split, lost all of his momentum, and he found the line much stronger than any other runner. It was very easy to see when you watch the replay. Up in front, out of trouble, I Own the Lead, Muscovado, trained by Gay, ridden by the 2 kilo apprentice Winona Constant, led when they were about the 600 metre mark. It was 3 lengths clear of Good Prince, a 60 to 1 chance. Muscovado was $10, and well, up in front, out of trouble, was the reason this runner got home. The favourite, Kermadec, had to make a long searching run from second last and went around them wide, but it did roll up to them fairly easy at the top of the rise, but just failed. It was a bob of the head when they hit the line. One head up, one head down. The next stride, the favourite, Kermadec, it's got its head in front, but it wasn't to be. Gay's leader, Muscovado, just held on. But as I say, Abduction, when you watch the tape, you'll see that it was, I thought, if it would have been able to get to the outside, but it was awkwardly placed on the inside, settled down last on the fence, and it's very easy to see how unlucky it was when you watch the tape. Curo won the next, the favourite, given a beautiful ride by Bold Blake Shin in 4th position, eased off their heels, and the race was over after they topped the rise. The next race, well, the Lightning was this race was won by the favourite, the very short price favourite Deepfield, who's made it now 4 from 4. Well, it wasn't a race. This turned out to be the joke that it was thought it was going to be when the announcement was made this morning, this morning by Chris Waller, that Kinsella was going to be ridden with cover. Well, you know, he jumped out, and all Kinsella wanted to do was he jumped out, and he was in a canter on the outside of the favourite, and of course, following instructions that was given out to the general public, Jay Collette took hold and said, no, come on, we're going back today. We're going to let this favourite have the cosy run up in front. and of course Deep Field just strode through and led, and Barbed came across and sat on his outside from the outside alley. 7 runners and had barrier 7. Well, this wasn't a race for the 13 to 4 on chance. We put it up $1.22. We got it out to $1.28. It started that price, and you know, the second pick was on its back on the fence. The winner Deep Field sprinted too well for it after they topped the rise, but this race wasn't a race. It was a bit of a joke. Race 6, we saw Old Blake Shin on Mulliquin go straight to the lead, dictate and hold off Armistad, who ran an improved race today. The favourite, disclaimer, got the suck on the fence behind the leader all the way, had every possible chance. And in race 7, we saw Bold Blake Shin again on Mahara have a beautiful posse sitting in 4th position, eased off their heels, 1 out, 1 back he was, eased off the heels, turning for home, established a big enough break to win by about 3/4 of the length from All Cerise, who put in a very good effort to try and catch it, but the post was too close. And he got to the last race, and this was a very good ride by Tim Clark on the favourite, Avoid Lightning. He got it into a beautiful position, eased off the heels, topping the rise, and after sitting 3 wide, possibly the best run in the race was this West Australian horse having its first start here in New South Wales, Rose of Choice, ridden by Blake Shin. He got trapped 3 wide outside in about 5th position, and stayed there till the turn. And after they'd topped the rise, he was able to get past the leaders. The winner was half looking at him behind him, and also inside the 3rd horse, Rose of Choice, was Brook Road, and Brook Road finished up after Rose of Choice had got past Brook Road, but as I say, had sat 3 wide for the entire journey. Brook Road was able to beat Rose of Choice for that 2nd position, and but the favourite, who came off their backs, sprinted a little bit too good at the finish, and got home by about the neck margin. Well, it was a good ride, but possibly the 3rd horse was a little bit stiff. If he would have been able to slot in, he might have got the chocolates. That was about the meeting. There was a fairly good roll up there today. In the pub where we are, in the Rubbity-Dub-Dub, a lot of noise, and a lot of girls tripping over each other and having all their little bets, which was nice to see. So if you're betting there today, either laying them or backing them, I hope you've finished with a plus sign at the end of the day. Good evening.